Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Mariya. Please subscribe below for more videos like this one. Today, I figured we would talk about empaths. I have gotten a question through my Instagram, and the question was around, essentially, why would anyone want to sign up for being an empath, given how hard it is? Probably the question coming from an empath. I myself am an empath, and I found the question fascinating. And so I figured today we are going to dissect it. So why would anyone in their right state of mind want to be an empath? Especially on a planet like planet Earth, a third-dimensional, very dense energy planet that is ruled by masculinity. Why indeed? I think that's a great question. We all know that the struggle of the empaths is coming and feeling everything. The good, the bad, the ugly, the in-between. And unfortunately, on dense planets like our planet, there is a lot of negativity, right? And so we are signing up for this very interesting conundrum of being, essentially succumbing ourselves to being the sponges for potentially negative energies and negative frequencies. So why would a soul that has a full plate of options on its table select this very dubious, very, at face value, unnecessary skill or sense? I love empathy and being an empath and being a feeler, right? From the perspective of the new frontiers that it opens up for humanity. So first things first, what we need to know about empaths is that they came here to practice femininity, right? Or one of the feminine modes of perception, right? So essentially being an empath is a precursor to clairsentience, right? Clear feeling. And so if you are mad at being an empath, a perspective that I would like to offer to you is this. You cannot take a particular skill set without taking the full range. So if you would like things like clairvoyance, if you would like things like psychic abilities, if you would like things like clairsentience, which are all the different facets of feminine magic, it comes with the territory of bringing to this planet a heart that is so wide open that it is truly a sponge. So everybody who is an empath has an overactive and a very sensitive heart center, right? That is your feeling mechanism. An empath feels with their heart space. It's like their heart space walks into the room before they walk into the room, right? So we cannot say, hey, there are parts of feminine energies that I love, and there are parts of feminine energies that I don't like. For instance, I like things like wisdom. I like things like intuition. I like things like abundance. I like things like tenderness and love and all of the good things. But don't give me empathy. Like, my heart doesn't want to feel the negative emotions. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. When we're stepping into the feminine magic, we're going to have to step in all the way. The blood, sweat, and the tears, right? And so one of the reasons that the souls would pick a path of an empath, no pun intended, is because they would like to practice the feminine facet of their gifts, right? And that either essentially if you come as an empath enough times, eventually your empathy becomes clairvoyance. Essentially, your empathy turns you into you being an oracle or a seer. Very often it turns you into being a healer. That's another precursor that the empaths essentially are on the road off, right? It's like usually a precursor to being a really, really good healer, whether that is energetic healer or otherwise, is being an empath. Because you have to put yourself in the shoes of another and really feel what they're feeling, right? So what empaths come to practice here is full receptivity. They come here to practice being these receptacles for all that is, without judgment, without fail, right? And they're not about protecting themselves from all of these incoming energies. And yes, it may be a challenge in the moment, but on a soul evolutionary journey that really helps you hone in your feminine side of magic, and one of which is healing, right? So a lot of souls that would love to become fantastic, phenomenal healers, planetary, local healers, doesn't really matter. they would first come as empaths. And sometimes it is a little bit like paying your dues. You have to pay your dues before you're able to kind of rise up and, you have the skills. There was another question that somebody asked me around essentially, how do we get our psychic gifts? Like, how come some people are born with psychic gifts and other people are not born with psychic gifts? And essentially, your psychic gifts that you have this lifetime are a conglomerate, or rather, like a pinnacle of everything that happened to you in past incarnations, right? So people are not just accidentally claircognizant. They must have practiced the masculine side of magic to become claircognizant in this lifetime, right? So there were other things that they had to do in order to become this, which they have become right now. I'll give you a quick example. Clairaudience, right? Like clear hearing and the ability to hear guides with like sentences. Beautiful, beautiful clair. Usually, when a person first wants to, or a soul wants to develop clairaudience, they would take on lifetimes upon lifetimes of somebody who works with sound, right? So you first connect to sound. So either being a singer, playing a musical instrument, I don't know, being a director of an orchestra, doesn't really matter, writing music, right? Or just, even if they're not taking this as an artistic endeavor, or like as a career path, at first they would at least go to musical concert, listen to music all the time, right? So that would be a precursor to developing clairaudience, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40 lifetimes later, right? So people who are develop clairaudience have a clear ear or clear hearing. How do you develop clear hearing? By putting yourself smack in the middle of having to hear things, having to be in tune with music, right? So you don't accidentally become psychic. There is a path and a method to doing that. So, and being an empath is a precursor to being both clairvoyant, by the way, and clairsentient, right? So being able to feel, and clairsentience is actually what really drives oracles. So a lot of oracles and a lot of seers would develop clairsentience, and that enables them to go forward on a timeline. Managing time is actually a very feminine thing, believe it or not. It's like the feminine energies. Time and timelines dwells in the realm of the Divine Mother, not the Divine Father, as counterintuitive as that is. So being able to manage time, fast forward or like, forwards or backwards, that's actually a very feminine type of magic. And so, yeah, a lot of seers are going to have to first become empaths, then become clairsentient, then become a seer, right? And then be able to predict the future, etc. Right? So don't blame your soul for sending you here on an empath journey. There is a method to the madness, and there is a plan, a greater plan. Believe that. There is another really, really strong reason that I see as a common denominator for souls who have shown up as empaths in this lifetime. And this common denominator is this. Being an empath enables you to live more than one life. What I mean by that is the density of your experience, the amplitude of the incoming information is just so heightened with empaths that they're able to feel, perceive, and live more than others, right? Just because usually you as a human being are constrained within your little bubble, right? Certain things happen to you. You feel a certain way, you don't feel a certain way, you think certain thoughts, and that becomes your universe. Not so much for an empath. An empath is walking down the street, they're seeing a homeless person, they're seeing a dog. All of a sudden, they're feeling all of the emotions and all of the feels, right? What that enables an empath to do is almost like fast forward their own learning process. It enables them to hack the system a little bit because they are expanding their learning capacity, and they're expanding the learning horizons outside of their own bubble, right? So what they have access to is their experiences, as well as the experiences of everybody else they come in contact with. And that is a fantastic gift, right? Because your soul is out for learning. The number one thing that your soul really wants is to become better at something, to have new experiences, to be something else new and different from what it is today, right? So it is on the spiral of evolution. And as such, your soul is really, really hungry for experiences. That is why sometimes your soul is going to sign you up for missions that are completely nuts, like completely crazy, really, really hard. Like, oh, why don't we experience stage 4 cancer and chemotherapy? From a limited human perspective, it's like, are you crazy? Why would I want to do that? Or like, why don't we would you like to experience war? This sounds like a fun game. The reason souls do that is because they're hungry for experience and they don't have the same level of judgment, of negativity that we do in the third dimensional space. Now, there is probably a reason for that, right? We are the ones actually in physical bodies here, and we are the ones feeling all the pain. Our bodies are holding on to all of that, trauma. So it's just a different perception. However, being an empath really enables you to have more experiences than an average human. So your palette, your emotional palette is going to be rich. It's going to enable you to discern and process all of these different facets and all of these different gradations of the emotion that are not accessible to an average human. So not only is your life going to become fuller, richer, it also speeds up and accelerates the learning process for a soul, right? So if a soul chooses to enhance their feminine characteristics, one of the things that comes front and center, and like one of the first things on that journey, is understanding the feelings and the emotions of others and yourself. How do you learn that? You learn that by experiencing the depth of emotion in your own heart, in your own body. You learn that by witnessing other people experiencing the emotions. And you learn that by putting yourself in their shoes through being an empath, right? So I guarantee you that if you showed up as an empath, that means that one of the trajectories of learning for your soul is the path of feminine magic. So working with the Divine Mother. And that is great news, you guys. So it is a great blessing that you're an empath. It is not a curse. And I will tell you this, empaths are here on this planet in unprecedented quantities as healers. As we're going through this transition, it takes a true empath to be able to harmonize, because empaths, usually when they come, they don't just come as sponges. They come as a harmonic frequency. So not only are you able to absorb the things and understand your little litmus test, you can understand what humanity is going through at any single moment in time. However, what you are also able to do is harmonize the disharmonious frequencies. Every empath has a very, very strong energy of water, right? The emotion. And so you inadvertently have an exchange of waters with the world, right? So when a water, like an emotional frequency, enters your body, the water has to go out. Also, it's an exchange, it's a give and take. And so your healing waters that you're holding on in your beautiful vessel, in your beautiful heart that is very open and very healing, you're going to exchange that with every person that you feel deeply for, so that they can heal, so that they can be more harmonious, so that they can get that boost of healing frequency that they may not have otherwise. So you're planetary level healers as well. And I think that that's beautiful. And it's a big mission. And as hard as it is, and by the way, big missions are usually not easy. And so I commend you if you're an empath. Please drop it in the comments below if you guys are resonating with this and, what your experience has been being an empath. I know it can be rough out there. I'm sending you a big virtual hug. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, loves.